once again. I'm your host, Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the latest in streaming and video on demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. This week, we are taking a look at Deep Blue Sea 3. And the way they do it, it kind of looks like Deep Blue Seas. I don't know. Let's find out what the crew think. All right, first up is Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. I made it.
You made it. Enjoy some shark action today, did you?
I did. I've been shark actioning like all week, actually.
Oh man, yeah. You've been doing all the Deep Blue Sea movies, haven't you?
Yes, trying.
That's amazing. All right. Also joining this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. Crystal, how you doing?
I'm excited. This the Deep Blue Sea franchise is actually really awesome. It's one of my favorites. So, I got my little attack dog ready to eat off my little sharkies, right?
There you go. Looks like you're still on that. Was it the Big Little or whatever it was called?
Big Happy.
Little Happy.
Little Happy.
Oh my! Also joining us is Dave Dreher. Dave, how you doing, bud?
I am the Big Happy. That is me. I'm
Big
here.
Well, you love your shark movies too, right? So.
I do. I've always enjoyed the Deep Blue Sea franchise, so I was very curious to watch this one.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? So after Jaws, what's the next franchise you think of? And it's Deep Blue Sea, right?
Yeah, probably when it comes to sharks. Yeah.
Even though this is only the third one, and maybe Sharknado.
Maybe.
Oh,
but not.
That's
it's different, right?
That's more horror comedy. That's horror comedy.
That's actually sharks not in the water. More than
That is. That's because they're in a tornado.
Yep.
All right, but we're doing Deep Blue Seas, and in this case, we're doing Deep Blue Sea 3, and this is coming your way July 28th, 2020 on VOD, and then in August, it's coming out on DVD and Blu-ray. It is directed by John Pogue, written by Dirk Blackman, starring Tanya Raymond, Nathaniel Bozelic, Emerson Brooks, Bran Foster, Raina Oy, and Alex Batt, among others. And the synopsis goes, Dr. Emma Collins and her team are spending their third summer on the island of Little Abbey, studying the effects of climate change on great white sharks who come to the nearby nursery every year to give birth. Their peaceful life is disrupted when a scientific, air quotes, team led by her ex-boyfriend and marine biologist Richard, yes, Dick, shows up looking for 3 bull sharks who we soon learn aren't just any bull sharks. Well, that's what a Deep Blue Sea movie would bring us. So I'm really excited to find out what the crew think, because when we saw the trailer, I think the first word that came to each one of our minds is sci-fi movie. Sci-fi. I see sci-fi movie here.
Oh, yeah.
Now we got to find out if that's what actually happened. And Crystal Cleveland, you are up first. What's your first impression of Deep Blue Sea 3?
So I'm not ashamed to admit this. I loved this movie. I love the Deep Blue Sea franchise. Okay, so if you haven't seen it before, I think you kind of need to definitely start with the first one, which has one of the most amazing kills ever, Samuel L. Jackson. It's just mind-blowing. But that gives you an idea of what the franchise is like. It's serious, but with some really over-the-top and silliness, but not to the point of being campy. It just kind of rides that line. Some people make it out alive that absolutely should not make it out alive, but we don't care because I still love it so much. It has some absolutely beautiful shots. Some of the underwater footage is actually really, really, really gorgeous, I thought. The fight scenes. When I was watching it, I was actually really shocked. It was choreographed really well. There was a lot of good movements. There's a lot of good in this movie. And I actually, as I was watching this, had wished that I'd been able to see it at the theater. Because I think it would be amazing on a big screen. So I definitely want to own it and watch it on a big TV, because I think it'll be just absolutely gorgeous. The acting is all stellar. Everyone did a fantastic job. There were a couple little character issues I had with just two of the males where it seems like they kind of kept who was the bad guy. You don't really know. So that is, if I had to nitpick, that would be one of the only things about this movie that I would say that I was about. But stellar job. The sharks were amazing. There was one scene where one of the lead males is covered in blood, and I just think it looked really good on his tank top. I was like, they did a great job on the blood, even. There's a lot of CGI with these movies, but that looked phenomenal, and it was real, coming out of his ear. I have a lot of good things to say about this movie, but yeah, my first impressions are I really liked it.
You really liked it. Yes, you did. Yeah, the two guys you're talking about are different because one guy's he eventually seeks redemption and all he gets is lunch. We'll get to that. All right, up next is Jeff Mohr. Jeff, well, maybe he doesn't get lunch, but he is lunch. Jeff Mohr, what was your first impression of Deep Blue Sea 3?
Well, my first impression was, and maybe I'm being silly, but about 10 minutes of the movie, I realized, I have to turn my brain off for this one.
Yes,
because the characters seem to be doing really dumb stuff, but that's okay. From that point on, I just had fun with it, and it's a lot of fun. The CGI is pretty good. There was a couple of spots that bothered me that seemed kind of obvious, but you never know. It could have been my streaming connection as well for the screener. So yeah, I'd like to see a hard copy of this or in the theaters. Yeah, it's fun. I like Tanya Raymond a lot, or Ramon, or whatever, however you pronounce her name. I first noticed her in Lost, like a lot of people probably, but she's been in some other shows that I like. So it was good to see her here. The setting was really impressive. I mean, they actually built this small floating island of buildings and docks, etc. And then later sunk a big chunk of it over the course of the story. So that was really kind of cool. And I'll bet that was not easy to shoot in that environment. Otherwise, I liked it. I noticed the writer, Dirk Blackman, wrote one of our Into the Dark series that we always do, Delivered, that we did earlier this year.
Oh, wow. I didn't catch that.
And then John Pogue's done a couple of horror movies as well. So not surprising that some of the stuff works really well. And I was kind of glad. I mean, there's some of those shark moments that are really obvious, but there's other shark moments, other moments where I thought, okay, here's what's going to happen. And I kept waiting for it. It didn't happen. And then boom, they surprised me. So it's not all obviously he's going to get eaten by a shark now, right? So,
right.
Anyway, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's definitely full of surprises and plenty of fun gore. Some of it's slapsticky, but it's there. Now, I don't know if Dave Dreher loves shark movies. I love shark movies, but does Dave Dreher love shark movies? Dave, what was your first impression of Deep Blue Sea 3?
The Deep Blue Sea franchise is an odd egg, because if you remember right, the first one was like a big budget. I mean, it was like directed by Rennie Harlin. It had Samuel L. Jackson and Thomas Jane. I mean, it was a major release back in the day. When the second one came out, it was almost a straight to video kind of deal. Matter of fact, it might have been straight to video. So I wasn't really sure what to expect with Deep Blue Sea 3. I want to say they're back up to the original caliber of where they went. They kind of took the loose story from 2. They kind of tie this into it a little bit. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, they even tie it into the first one a little bit. They make mention of the research being done for Alzheimer's patients and stuff.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Which was the major catalyst of the first film. So they kind of managed to bring it all together. John Pogue, I think, did a great job of directing this. There's a lot of great action, a lot of great gore. My first impression is I'm glad they made this movie. I really enjoyed it.
I am so glad you're saying that. Oh, that's. I don't know what I did, but I like that better.
Well, you can show Crystal while you talk. That's fine.
Yeah.
It was
I'm like,
hey, okay. So
Yay.
I was expecting this to be quite the schlock fest. I was expecting to be entertained, and I was ready to be entertained. I didn't know I was going to enjoy it quite this much. There are at least 2, maybe 3 moments that I literally clapped and cheered, sitting here by myself watching a shark movie late at night. I loved. I really loved Tanya Raymond. I thought she looked fantastic, and I meant to say acted fantastic, but yeah, she looked fantastic too.
Yeah, especially at the end, she got that tight blue swimsuit on. It's like, yeah, there you go.
But
Is it blue? I was going to say it was the white wetsuit that was the real MVP. It seems white to me, but it might be blue. It was beautiful.
I didn't care.
Whatever.
I thought she was fantastic. Everybody was. I liked Shaw, her father's friend. I like that whole backstory that they had the relationship between them two. I like the geeky guy and the geeky girl who had the little geeky relationship, and then when the rest of them, and I like the two people that are still from the village that are remaining to help them out, and the village is literally sinking into the water. So there's all this stuff. I said, wow, they really wrote a good script. These are good characters. The bad guys are a little generic. There's only 2 out of all of them that you really care about, but that's cool. Most of them are lunch.
They reminded me of like the old Cannon movie bad guys, like the Chuck Norris movie bad guys. Yeah,
yeah, they're red shirts. They're red shirts. That's all they are, except for they were bare chested. But whatever. And the 2 lead bad guys. Crystal said what is not wrong. But the one guy who ends up being the bad of the bad is there's some really fun stuff with them. Quite a bit, actually. Some surprising stuff. And when he goes off against Shaw and he calls him an old man and he's like, What'd you say? I just love the way they thought. And I was like, dude, that guy looks buff. You don't know what you're doing. But he did. They both did. And it was a really good fight. So this movie, the sharks looked fantastic. There's a couple times that they looked a little too obvious, like when they're trying to break through the glass. They were, it was a little like, okay. But there's other times when either they're using like a mechanical head, or they actually there's a couple times underwater, like there's a beginning scene where she's a great white's butting up against her, and who's friendly-ish, and it's really effective. There's one of the bull sharks that they have on the ship looks really strong. It looks like it's practical. If it's not, it's really good CGI. But occasionally a shark will jump out of the water and you're like, no.
When I thought
that's the only way they could do that.
Well, yeah. But at the same time, it's like, wow, that's a hell of a lot of fun. I was like, wow, is this going to be my top 10 for the year? Is it that good? It might be. Jeff says no.
It could be for me.
I really like it. Yeah. We've been lucky this past, if you're a shark movie fan, and I love shark movies, we've had a series of fun shark movies. Now they've been highs and lows in how successful they are, but they've been fun, and many of them have been in the theaters. We had was it Shallow, right?
Shallows.
Yeah, the Shallows.
Meg, I loved Meg. It's stupid,
I did
but
too.
I loved it. The 47
meters. Okay, so see, that is those. I'm not crazy about the 47 meters down as much. I way prefer the Deep Blue Sea franchise. This totally gets me. It rides that line between being realistic and just being a little off the wall to the point where it is kind of funny, but it gives you enough tension. This movie had a lot of tension.
It did.
That's why I
It
love
did.
shark
Yeah,
movies. You're like,
There-
ooh, 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 go get it, go, girl, go.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a scene toward the end that was
Yeah, oof.
very, very effective.
And claustrophobic.
Yes, and then there's a scene when one of the houses is starting to collapse and
Mm.
partially underwater, where they did something with a fin that I thought worked really, really well. Really, really well, where it was behind her and then in front of her and then behind her in front of her. I was like, wow, okay, now I kind of feel like where the shark is, even though all we're seeing is this fin going around in the water. But it was, they had some really nice depth and perspective to it. So, and I liked what she was saying too. And I didn't really understand what she was saying until later when it was revealed. She's talking about it's not a coffin, it's not a coffin, it's not a coffin. I was like, why is she saying that? I don't get it.
Right.
But there's, you care about the characters, even, some of the ones that may not, they just get the slightest, but enough character development. Just all of them. I was really rooting for this movie, and I was like, wow. But I got to turn this over to Dave real quick, because we always talk about, the effects. And of course, this is a shark movie, and shark movies, of course, there's blood, there's bites, things get dismembered, things get blown up. Satisfied, Dave? Were you satisfied?
I was. The again, I know we don't like to be too spoilery.
Sure.
But yeah, the one of the first major gore things. I'm not sure how I'm going to say this without spoiling it, but when they're underwater and they think the shark is coming, and instead,
that was
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
my
And
first cheer. I
that
forgot
was-
about
yeah.
that, yes.
yeah, that was really good. Just the way it was shot, and then the effect, you could tell it was a practical effect just with
Yeah.
And the reveal, the whole reveal of it.
Yeah,
is
yeah, so that-
splendid.
so
Oh,
that
my
was
God.
real good. I mean, we had some like good close up bite mark stuff that was really good. There was definitely some CGI in there. Most of the bad CGI for me was when they were showing the sharks like on a monitor or something like that.
Yeah. Mhm.
That thing when they had after they sedated the one and he was up on the monitor, it was like really Sharknado quality type stuff, because he was use that little tool and try to make them react, and they would wiggle around. It's like, boy, that's not good. That doesn't look good at all. But when it mattered, some of the bigger CGI effects. Again, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but the towards the end, one of the big kills when somebody's jumping off a boat was obviously CGI, but it looked great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It looked really, really good.
There's a close up with one of the bull sharks that was quite graphic and scary. It was pretty good.
Yeah, and then the end, our finale scene was superb.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that was yeah. I mean, that was top notch. That was one of the best.
What a great way to put that into the script and so subtly that you're not realizing it's a that it's your smoking gun, right?
Yeah. So it was good. A lot to like about this one, all the way around. Like you said, with the acting, the effects, the writing, the directing, it was a well-made film.
Excellent, Crystal. Let's talk. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I was saying the spot that bothered me in the special effects was when they had clouds of blood underwater, or there was another place where there was smoke or something that I just went.
Yeah, this looked bad.
Yeah, when they were riding the water scooter underwater and trailing the chum or something.
I like that little automatic chum machine. That's pretty cool. I think we need one of those.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. But the cloud of blood just looked dumb to me. Now maybe I don't know. Guess it didn't bother you guys. So
Yeah.
I was
Underwater, I guess.
I was
Yeah.
all in by then. It didn't matter. Nothing. They had me. They had me by then. All right, Crystal. Let's talk about Tanya Ramon's character, and she's actually the lead scientist. So yay, right?
Yeah.
And this movie has messages, right? They're talking about global warming. They also,
Oh yeah. The beginning of actually the movie is like a 30-second commercial for or longer for all of that stuff, which kudos to them. They put it in the beginning, so we got it. We got the message, and now we can be silly. Yeah. Sorry.
But they keep bringing it up.
Absolutely.
It's a running thread, which gives it some urgency, which I appreciated. I like the thank you for coming to save us part of
Oh,
the.
so the women are, if you're getting to, the women characters here, the women are the best in this movie. They're all strong characters.
All three of them.
They're all,
Yeah.
well, yeah, we don't want to give anything away, but clearly women are the real winners in this one.
Sally was a strong character too.
Even, yeah, see? So I think that, I don't know, who was it? I don't know if it was written by a female or a male, but definitely someone was cognizant of that and was making sure that the women, I mean, the ending scene, the way it was written partially, as well as the way it was acted, she did a phenomenal job in that role. And the way it was shot, I mean, everyone played their role so perfectly at that finale scene. I mean, she looked totally BA. And she could only look that way with everyone doing it properly, because the CGI even effects and all that. I mean, I was really blown away by the quality of this film. I don't know what I was expecting, I suppose.
Well, we said in the intro, we were all expecting sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
Kind of a Sharknado kind of, but it wasn't.
So much better than that. Even some of the drone shots, like at the end with the boat, I was like, that's beautiful. I mean, it's just... Yeah, I'm worried I'm going to pump it up so high that when people watch it, they're but I really liked it.
Yeah, well, I first became a fan of her during Lost. Yeah, she was.
Oh yeah,
she was on that, and she was great there, and she's even better now. And I hope she gets more work. And Jeff, you said you remember her from Lost as well, right?
Yeah, and she's on a show on Amazon right now called Goliath that stars Billy Bob Thornton. She's sort of the second in that. So, and she had a few episodes in The Last Ship. I don't know if anybody ever watched that, but I did. It was a TNT series.
I remember the series, but I didn't know she was in it.
Yeah, I thought.
Oh, yeah, I like her. I like her.
Yeah. So, Jeff, we always talk about WTF moments, and I would say maybe not in the usual Jeff way, but there are some WTF moments in this. Are there not?
There certainly are. There certainly are.
Now,
even some that you can see coming, when you finally see them, you go, ooh. Anyway.
Yep.
I don't know that I want to give any away, but
no, we don't. But it's different than usual type of WTF moments that you like. Are these WTF moments part of the turning your brain off, or
no? Well.
Maybe
I'll give you one example the guys that are coming that are paid by the big pharma company, they don't tell Tanya Raymond's character everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when Tanya Raymond's character finds out everything, she throws a fit that he didn't tell him. But then does she bother to tell the other people that live on this little floating island, the people? She doesn't tell them. And what happens?
I never realized
I just was like, what? Really? There was little stuff like that just drove me nuts. So what can I say?
I didn't either.
I hope I didn't ruin it for anybody if they didn't.
Oh,
think
man.
Oh,
No. I don't know.
So anyway, that's the ones where I went, what? You didn't?
Well, there was a number of things
exactly what you didn't want. Yeah,
it's like, you're diving in the water now. Come on.
Yeah.
But you had to, right?
There was a bunch of those. Well, everybody was diving into the water to save somebody against everybody else's better judgment. I mean,
I will say that one of the dives into the water and what happened with the dive into the water was one of my favorite moments. And I'm like, all right. Yeah. That'll work. If you're going to do
they
that,
suckered me because all the other dives into the water, I was looking for something to happen, and most of the time it didn't. So when the one did, I was lulled into complacency.
So I'm not talking about that one.
I know.
Okay.
I'm talking about one where he's already in the water, and
maybe not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think I know. Okay. Is that cryptic enough?
Cryptic,
that was awesome. That was awesome. And
awesome, yeah.
Shades of Jaws, right?
Mm.
Yeah. There was a couple times like we get the close up of the guy, and the one shot, the reveal, and then we get a shot up of his goggles, and what is that on my arm? And
shark.
There's a shark in there. And we get a close up of his goggles and remind me of the guy coming out of the boat. at the end, in Jaws. But anyway, all right. You can't compare this to Jaws. It's not Jaws.
It's not Jaws.
It's not Jaws. No.
Definitely deep.
It's more Jaws the Revenge, maybe. But
Stop. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts, our score, favorite scene. Crystal, you're up first.
But before we do,
I guess go ahead and do it. I want to
make sure that you subscribe and like or comment on our channel. We are so thrilled and happy when we see your comments. We love it. No matter what you say, please give us comments and subscribe and like us.
Yes.
Feel loved. And Oliver feels loved when you do it too.
That dog stares at you like you're the Madonna.
I know, he really does. Isn't he beautiful? Like, he's so wonderful. Like, he totally feeds my ego. Thank you.
If you can't do it for us, do it for Oliver.
Yes, please do it for Oliver.
So, if I haven't made it clear, I love this movie. You should absolutely watch this movie. I guess it's coming out soon on demand or something, since the theaters.
28th on demand, and in August on Blu-ray and DVD.
Oh, awesome. Yes, definitely watch it. I loved it. I hope you love it too. If you like shark movies, I think you're going to really, really, really dig it. I'm going to give this a 4.25.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Had a feeling.
So that's pretty high. That's pretty high. And I don't care. It's totally worth it. And there's a lot of favorite scenes, a lot. But one of my favorites, and that I cheered with, and it's kind of sad, but cheered, was a double-fisted explosion.
Yes, I
love that scene. Yes. Oh, I just love it. I just thought it was so brilliant and so awesome. I was like, yeah! And it was done so well. Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, that's the way to do it.
Yep.
I love that scene. All right. Well, this is going to be fun. I think, Jeff, you are up next. What is your final thoughts, your score, and favorite scene?
I'm going to do like Doc said he did. I'm going to raise mine a little bit after talking about it.
I do that every week.
A little bit. So I'll give this a 3.5, and mainly because what it lacks, it makes up for in fun, I think, and really smart sharks. I mean, that's what we need. We need sharks that are smarter than people.
We need smart sharks.
So, there was something I wanted to mention, and I got to send him a picture. But the guy that played Spin, Alex Bott, he looks exactly like a guy that I used to work with.
Oh, wow.
The mannerisms, his smile, everything. And this guy I worked with was kind of a geek too. So I'm gonna have to find a good picture and send him and say, hey, Eric, what's up? Double life, something. So yeah, I like the acting. At the very first, when we saw the guys in the big funded ship, I was thinking these are going to be I don't know. They did let's put it this way. They did a much better job of acting than I expected. Because up to that point, I was thinking this is kind of like a high budget sci-fi movie, but it's more than that. So Bren Foster, who is apparently a Taekwondo world champion at some time or another.
See, that's what I said, the fighting scenes. Yeah.
Yes. And then Emerson Brooks as well. So anyway, favorite scene. So let's see, what did I say? I said 3.5. Favorite scene. I wrote something down. I'm sorry. She took the double explosion. I'm going to take the dumpster shot, because that was just, you're like, I was like, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Boom! They did
it. Oh my God, that was so good. Oh,
and it was so well. It was drawn out so well too.
Yes. That was definitely the third, maybe fourth cheer and clap that I did for this movie. This movie made me so happy.
Right.
Yeah, right. All right, Dave Dreher, you're up next. What is your final thoughts? Your score, favorite scene? 4, Deep Blue Sea 3.
Deep Blue Sea 3. I think we're all kind of pretty much in agreement on this one. My favorite scene, I don't really want to say because there's no way of saying it without spoiling it. So I'm going to go with something else, but this is still a good scene. But it's the scene where after they've managed to capture one of the sharks and the other two are attacking the ship, trying to get their buddy. And they hang the one over the side and they come to the realization that by threatening the one that they have on board, the other two back off. That these things have the intelligence level of being able to understand that. And I think it played important into the final third of the film, of what they were up against here. I just liked the way it was written and then executed. I thought it was really good. And, nobody other than the one character, I think, really knew what they were up against until that moment. And, we kind of make fun of the whole smart shark thing, but these were some smart ass sharks. and we know that after this scene, but there are several really great gore gag scenes that are fun, but you got to see them. I don't want to take the time to explain them and ruin it for everybody. I'm going to give this one a 4. And I kind of want to see it too, like on a hard copy disc. The online screeners are great, but I had a lot of problems with mine wanting to start and stop. I think I might have missed a few things because of that. So when this one hits Blu-ray DVD, I'll definitely be checking it out.
Excellent. Yeah, I love it. Go ahead.
How many times do you say sharks don't do that before you realize?
No,
These are not normal sharks.
Maybe these sharks do that. So
at some point in time, one of the characters makes a comment of like they're just one step away from growing arms or something like that. Some type of a comment like that.
It was good. This thing's really well written and really well directed. Quarantine 2 is the first movie, and then The Quiet Ones was the second movie.
Mm-hmm. I remember The Quiet Ones. Yeah, that's the one with the Ghost Hunter guy.
Yeah, and I like both those films. Neither one is like, spectacular, well regarded. The Quarantine movies have their own kind of shtick, but I thought I really liked his work on it, and I think his work here is really good. He really knows how to frame everything. The underwater scenes look great. The interior shots look great because there's all these different kind of environments that they're in, be it the ship or these strange huts. They just really handled everything well, and it didn't look schlocky or like you never felt it was on a green screen or anything like that. It all felt like they're really out in the water and practical. So either they did a real good job of doing a green screen or it just is really out there. And I believe the latter is true. I just thought it all came together really well. There's great chemistry between our characters, even though Richard is truly a dick.
He lives up to his name.
Without question.
There is a scene between him and Emma that I thought that's kind of sizzles. They really have some chemistry. This is kind of good, and it doesn't last long because she punches him shortly after that. But I mean, the geeks, the two geeky kids. Their relationship was like so adorable, and you root for him. And I loved Shaw. I thought his attitude was so great, and and the sharks look great. And there's a couple times when the sharks are right up in Emma's face that it's like wow.
Yeah.
There's one time where both of them are right up. There's 3 sharks, but there's 2 of them right up in her face, and she's got a weapon. And we've established that weapons, in Dave's favorite scene, weapons, they understand what weapons are. So they understand this is a weapon, and she's got them at bay because she has this weapon, and they use that to great effect, and it really looks fantastic. I'm going to give this a 4 as well. I'm tempted to give it more. It might be in my top 10. If not, look for it to be an honorable mention at the very least. This movie took me by surprise, and the casting might be part of it. I thought Tanya Raymond is absolutely fantastic in this. Can't wait to see her in more stuff. And my favorite scene, there's two I can choose. I'm surprised neither one was chosen. Both of them are spoilery in a way. One of them, I think we mentioned both of them. So I'm going to go with the first one that came up, and I knew we were in for a treat. Our we're underwater. The bull sharks are there. We haven't really seen them yet. And our team of scientists, with air quotes, are there with our leads. And one guy has kind of gone off mic, can't find him, but they find him. He's coming toward them. And the reveal is so good. So good. And once I saw that, I knew I was in for a treat. I said, okay, I get it. I know exactly what we're doing here. This is going to be so much fun. And it was, they kept it up. The pacing was great. If you've seen the trailer, there's a shark biting a head scene.
Oh yeah, the head back.
I almost wanted to pick that, but I almost wanted to pick when that whole thing comes up later, which is even better. You grab the legs, and I was like, "Whoa, that's so wrong." But it was this movie. It knows when to be funny. It knows when to be, slightly serious, and it's usually serious when they're talking about their message or how people feel about each other. So it's smart about that. It really well done. And I'd like to see it on a big screen as well. It missed an opportunity there. It could have been called something else entirely, and maybe. Yeah. But I don't know. It's to me, I might even say, well, I don't know. It's hard to say it's better than the first one, because the first one is so iconic in a couple scenes, right? But
it's Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, the cast of that was amazing. I think the first one was amazing. I think this one is equally as good, though.
I like that. I can stand behind that.
And I mean, it does need to be part of the series, because they're still dealing with the same concept of these, genetically modified sharks that are more intelligent.
Large brains.
The same sort of, But I love that we could have tons of these.
Yep.
Totally good.
We don't.
I was really waiting. I was looking for an after credit shot that set up a sequel, but it wasn't there on our screener anyway.
No. All right. Well, that's our review for Deep Blue Sea 3. Bet you didn't see that coming.
This is this year's Leprechaun. Remember last year, though?
Oh my God! Yes.
Leprechaun.
This is this year's Leprechaun.
This is going to suck. No, it was great, and it made our list. Let's keep that up. I love that. All right. If you like what you see, please subscribe below. Hit the like button. Hit the bell. Give us some comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you're listening to this on our podcast, subscribe there as well. Anything you do, check this movie out. I think is what we're saying.
Yep.
All right. Well, Dave, Crystal, Jeff, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Oh,
it was a fun one.
All right. With that, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Gruesome magazine.
Okay, so was it? Oh my God!
I like this movie too. You guys didn't give me a chance to say anything.
Oh my God.
This is the shark movie to see.
Should have worn that the whole show.
How could you not have worn that? Yeah, absolutely.
Bye.
Totally. That was.